Good morning, Amber, and I'd like to introduce Dr. Robins-Hickson to the show. And Amber, thank you so much for agreeing to be here. And you know, you're not only a physician in the specialty of family practice, but also you are a businesswoman. So why don't you tell me about your newest line of interest and your new business venture?
Yes, so I'm so excited about this because it's something that I've been thinking of for a while. The name of the business is SanxtuaryMD by Dr. Amber. And so what that is, it's a period and also postpartum panty line. And we also provide education about periods for those women who may be just starting their periods or young women, the teens and tweens. And then also it goes all the way up to in general, whoever has a question about a period, we're always trying to figure out ways to answer that. Now, the idea came several years ago. So it kind of started when I was younger, when I was a teenager, thinking of ways to make my period better. And at that time, it was just trying to figure out, okay, how can I get my pads on a monthly basis that wouldn't cause so much disruption. In our house, we went to Sam's Club to get all our pads at once because my sister and I were there, my mom, so we had quite a few women in the house. So we bought pads in bulk. And at times my dad actually did that. So I always thought, what are less awkward ways to buy pads? And so that got like a seed in my head to think about how to make periods better. And then years later, when I got into medical school, or when I was actually in medical school, I started to have really heavy periods. And at that time in medical school, you know, you're just trying to get through medical school. You really don't need any extra issues to happen. And my issue was happening every month where I would leak on my bed when I would wake up, and I would have to get ways to clean my sheets or throw away sheets. And it was just really something that became more of a way to kind of, it was kind of depressing actually. And so at that time I started to think about, okay, so I know there are period panties on the market, and I tried a couple of them and I thought, okay, this is good, but what about for someone who would want to wear a pad with the period panty? Because for someone who has heavier periods, you need a bit more support. And so I put that idea on pause because all of the other things that happen in medical school, you know, tests and showing up and performing well on the floors came up. So I put that on pause. And actually during COVID, at the beginning of COVID, I said, well, let me just pick up all of my ideas that I put on pause for years, because during this time, you know, we have a lot of extra time and I needed to do something outside of what I normally did in medicine, you know, with doing all the swabs and everything like that. So I started to rethink this idea of having a period panty that would hold a pad in place. Later, I was able to get it so that it's patent pending. And then as a family doctor, talking to a lot of girls and women, I realized that there was a gap there in education. And you know, I would want to talk to more of my patients for a longer time about, okay, what does a period really mean? Why do you have a period? Is this normal? Is this abnormal? But honestly, in the 15, 20 minutes that you have with patients, you don't really have that much time. So I wanted to be able to create something that I'll be able, that I would also educate women on their bodies as well. And with that education and then a product to help support them, that really gives a good ground for empowering them to do whatever they want to do. So we do that empowerment through My Period University, which I'm very excited about as well.
This is great, you know, and I'm thinking back on what you said about your family and to reflect on it. You know, you had a sister and mom, and you know, you had pretty open household to talk about it, but it's not every household that has a liberty of talking about it, and not every teen or you know is kind of have a freedom talking about it. And I think if we have more resources for talking about it, not only, but also the products that can support girls and whoever has periods and even leakage issues, you know, because I think that can extend into various areas of life. And that's one thing. I think it's such a good great thing to have a conversation, because I think, as much as we talk more about, freedom of talking to the pregnancy and delivery babies, it's no longer a taboo issue being pregnant. In the past, you couldn't even say the word pregnant on the public TV. But I think the issue of menstruation still has a little bit of this stigma, so I think that it's really important that, we talk openly about it, that this is something not to be, you just keep it to your corner or private conversation. But I think we could do much more to bring it a little bit to the forefront, that this is normal. And the pads is actually, there is a movement of making pads a medical product. It shouldn't be, something, that, okay, we just go and buy. I think it should be covered by insurances also. We don't have a choice to have a period. And I think, we come up with these products, but also awareness. I think it could morph into additional way to help women to be healthy, to understand that this is just to support our health, emotionally and physically. Because you can imagine, just like you mentioned, when you have a heavy periods, which unfortunately I also have been struggling with, this takes over on these days completely, your thinking. And even a few days ahead, you have to think about your schedule, how you're going to feel, how you're going to react to things that come at you, and even the wardrobe selection. So I think that this is great. And why don't you talk a little bit about like the business conception? How did you go from the inception to the deployment of your idea?
Yeah, so okay, so let me give you a background. So I do have an MBA, but that's not what necessarily helps with the deployment of it. So I do have a background in that, but when you get a master's in business administration, it gives you a little bit of information here and there, but actually going and taking the next step to become an entrepreneur is its own learning curve. So for me, I've always thought of, okay, if someone else has done this, let me ask that person and figure out what experts can help me be able to bring this together. So for me, at the beginning, I sought out someone who has made panties or made garments because I don't have that background. And so with them, I was able to give them my idea. They were able to then create several prototypes, and we were working on those prototypes until they were in a range that I thought was okay to be able to start the manufacturing process. Then again, I found a manufacturer who has already made period panties and really sought out their expertise on it. And then trying to figure out, okay, I've done business before. So I have another business called Women in White Coats. And that's more of a coaching conference type thing where we empower and inspire women doctors. That's completely different than this
Very
business
different.
because yes, because it's a physical product. And you're not saying that other things aren't, but it's a physical product that you have to continue to tweak, and it goes out to the masses. So trying to get coaching on that as well, I was able to have someone coach me through that process of what that would look like, how much inventory to get, how to advertise, all of those things in order to get me really able to launch the business. So I had some help because I didn't want to step into any potholes that I could avoid. Mm-hmm. This process can be very expensive. And so if you can avoid some of those costs because of mistakes, not saying that you won't make any, but if you could avoid some of them, it's very helpful.
Absolutely. So this is a great insight, that what we do in medicine, you probably have to get a little bit extra mile to have this business background. And I'm sure that MBA helped you, but also how much of a team player it is and how much help we really need in getting running with the different ideas, because I don't think that our medical brains are necessarily trained very well into this idea of even private practice. Majority of physicians' jobs nowadays are employed. So, even the idea of opening private practice, which is being a business person, may not be necessarily intuitive to a lot of people who finish medical schools and training right now. But hey, listen, let's go right to it. So I got a sample from you, and thank you so much. And this arrived in a finally, yes, it took us a while. And it arrived in a nice plastic package, yes. And I'm taking it out. So I didn't test drive it, Amber. I was like, you know what? I want to keep it nice and clean and demonstrate. And so they black. Are they all black for the reasons that, you know, are pretty intuitive?
No. So we actually just started off with black because we figured that that would be a color that a lot of women would want. But our next go round, we are having panties that are skin tone. So nude panties for different skin colors. Yep.
Okay, phenomenal. I love skin tones colors. You know, it matches with a lot of things. Yeah. And so they are nice thick material, and inside they have a few pockets or strips. So tell me a little bit about the design and the idea behind it. This is to hold a pad, correct? And
yes. Yeah, so that's the difference between so that's the difference between us and a lot of the other period panties that are on the market. So there's a group of women who don't want to necessarily do what they call free flow, meaning that you don't have a pad in place. You just you bleed right into the panty. So we designed something for those who are in between. If you want to wear a panty liner, if you want to wear a pad, or so on a pad portion of the panty that goes between your legs. And so the top gusset is it actually lifts up from the bottom gusset and allows us to put, if you have wings in a pad, on a pad, you can put the wings in there to tuck it in. And then on the top, there are two straps. Those two straps are the area that really kind of hold the pad in place. So you can think about it as like a seat belt kind of thing, but you push the pad in the top, you push the pad on the bottom. If you have wings, you can put them underneath the top gusset, and that's it. So it's pretty simple if you think about, okay, what holds things into place.
So I kind of demonstrated in a nice, clean fashion, you know, without you know, as the pad. But I think the idea is pretty clear. And so tell me how is there so far, you know, the response and people who actually used them? What do they give? They give you feedback and some ideas, you know, already different colors and probably sizes. And so how is it going so far?
Oh, it's going well. So we have launched, let's see, maybe 3 weeks ago, and we got a bit of press coverage. So we were featured on Ebony's website for Ebony Magazine, Black Enterprise Magazine, their website. We'll be featured on Medscape as well. That's coming up. And then I'm so happy that you made this because I don't have to throw away all of my panties. I don't have to use so many. You have one or more than one period panty like this, and it really saves you a lot. So a lot of people who are using it says that it makes them feel more comfortable, feeling more secure throughout the day, able to really do those things throughout the day and wear different clothing and not worry about having a leak. So it's kind of like a backup plan to the backup plan, which is nice. So yeah, I've been getting a lot of feedback. And we also have a My First Period kit as well. So I'm waiting to get more feedback on that. What that is, it's a kit that goes to young girls who are just starting their periods. And in there, they get the period panty, they get more information about puberty, a cute bracelet, a binder, another little see-through bag with a logo on it, a rose pin, which I really like, but they get all of these things as a celebration of their period and coming into a portion of womanhood. So I'm excited to get more feedback that we just were able to send those out earlier this week. So we'll be getting more feedback on that very soon. I'm excited. So it's going really well.
Very exciting,
learning
for
a lot.
teens. I like this idea, the gift, the package a lot of them feel special, but I'm also thinking, is there any, gift idea for later ages, or middle-aged women to celebrate, this is the last few years for you to, this is what you got, and, strong or, whatever period, this is the last thing, and this is your protection, but also some ideas how to transition into the next phase. And as you know, this is the transitional period. It's actually very challenging for periods. They change from light to heavy and have additional support. And I think it's also equally important. So I think, I'm very grateful that people are talking about it and that there's movement in this area. And I was not even aware that there are other, company making panties but I'm great that, that actually doctors are, and you are into that, because I think, that there's a better understanding, but also you have such a great market to talk to your patients, to first, give you not only ideas, how they feel, but also possibly what's the next stage. And, you being family practitioner, you're seeing all the stages, and from teenagers to older women who are entering menopause. So I think it's also important. And, and I wish you the best.
And it's kind of, I was going to say, it's kind of funny because when I see patients, and I literally saw a patient who had one of those, mesh type panties, because those are only ones that really she could use. And I was like, oh, this is a perfect person who I could help with its panties. So I agree. It's more than just for if you're experiencing heavy periods during your teens, 20s, 30s. It's also for different transitions as well. And then we're looking even into postpartum. So I'm excited.
Definitely. Exactly. That's what I was going to say. There are also the various hospital and issues that women may need to use some support after some surgical procedures on the lower belly. So that's another thing I think that would be great, to have this extra support. Hey, listen, Amber, so I'm so grateful, that we were able to talk on the weekend, and I wish you have a nice Saturday and Sunday, and I wish you best of luck. And I'd like to reconnect in some time, maybe 6 months, 12 months, and see how you're doing. And again, best of luck in many successes.
Oh, thank you so much. And yes, I appreciate speaking with you. And I would love to speak with you in a couple of months to let you know and give you an update on how things are going.
Thank you so much. And again, I'm talking today to Dr. Amber Robins-Hickson, and she has a new line of panties for periods with her company. And again, Amber, repeat the name of a company.
Yes, it's called SanxtuaryMD by Dr. Amber. And you can find us at SanxtuaryMD.com. It's spelled differently. So it's SanxtuaryMD.com. And you can also follow us on social media.
And I also include the link to the site so people can, take a look and also, have their own ideas how things are looking. Again, have a nice day. Thank you, Amber.
All right. Thank you.